do you find it ridiculous that the US still does not have universal health care? And yeah, the fact that it is a majority American audience, I don't think it's a surprise we saw a lot of this question. It's a very hot topic at the top of a lot of people's minds in the States right now. And you have two presumptive presidential candidates, neither of whom are advocating for this, even though the polls I see coming out of the States, I think a majority of people do advocate for universal health care.
Yeah, we haven't lived the American life, obviously, of understanding the struggle of what it's like to have to pay to just go see the doctor and for your general health. We are so used to just not having to think about that. Of course, there are some things that you pay for, like you end up paying for part of your glasses prescription, or part of your dentist you may end up paying for out of pocket.
Yeah,
absolutely. But right, so it's not
just
like,
to be clear, it's not like everything is
not
covered
everything
and
in
free.
Canada is completely free, and then some things depend on, you can get better insurance than the standard provincial healthcare.
Yeah,
right. So there are options.
I guess the core point is, though, like, we can't relate.
Right.
And it just seems super bizarre to us, this idea of someone having to make a financial decision about, do I get medical treatment for something like at a hospital, or can I not afford to?
But it's not even just treatment. Like, I've talked to nail bloggers about this before. I used to be friends with a lot of nail bloggers, and some were from the States. So we just kind of swap like life stories while we were bored. And I just remember someone, I think it was from Georgia, just explaining to me that she didn't want to go to the doctor at all, because going to the doctor just to see what her runny nose or her sore throat was would have cost her like $200 just to visit a doctor. So what happens is people are deterred from going just to get a health check. And so whatever their issue may be, whether it's nothing or something really serious, they just keep putting it off, and then they're not getting the preventative care that they need, which ultimately in the end can make someone a lot sicker and things end up a lot worse. So that's something we don't have to think about. But when I talk to our American counterparts or friends, I realize how privileged we are that is not a strain on us. Like, we don't have to think about our health in that way.
No, I mean, it's not to say the Canadian system is perfect, though, right? There are a lot of people in Canada who are on long waiting lists to get a family doctor, because otherwise you basically have to end up waiting at these clinics and with incredibly
But that makes sense. When
and
healthcare is made available to everyone, it is going to be a bit harder to access. That's
I don't want to put this idea out there that the Canadian system is perfect.
Yeah.
Although I should say a lot of Canadians, I think our healthcare system is a sense of pride for a lot of Canada. Like in the last 10 years, the CBC, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, had a competition like American Idol style. You can like call in to vote, and they were trying to find out who was the greatest Canadian ever. And I'm pretty sure the winner was Tommy Douglas, who was a politician from, I think, the 50s and 60s. He was the premier of Saskatchewan, I believe. But he is widely recognized as one of like the fathers, or one of the most important political figures in why we have universal health care in Canada. So the fact that like there was a popularity contest for who's the best Canadian ever came down to the guy who is one of the main people responsible for why we have public health care, I think says a lot about how much Canadians are proud of the fact that we have this. So it's something
that I honestly took for granted for a long time, because I didn't really know. And I remember being in university even, like, and starting to get things like birth control. And after my student plan and what OHIP, which is our provincial government payer, I guess, for any drugs that you need, I ended up paying like $5 or something a month, which I was like, fine, like that was at the end of the day the expense I had to pay. But sometimes on the receipt it would show you what the actual retail amount was, even though you never paid that amount, and it would say something like $90. And I remember looking like, who the hell is paying $90 for birth control? And then as I, learned things about the world.
You came out of your igloo and...
No, I didn't. No. But like, it's just something that you don't think about because it's something you don't deal with. So I did feel kind of like blinded to that because no one was really telling me that unless I was listening to like American news.
Yeah. So I guess the answer is yeah, we do kind of find, like, I'm not an expert in the American system. I'm not sure what Obamacare looks like and if it's a good or bad thing.
Right.
I don't know if there's a hybrid system that makes sense. And there are some unique things about America and the fact that the pharmaceutical industry and a lot of the research being done for drugs is happening there in ways that's not happening in the rest of the world. I think it's important to recognize there are some differences, but I'd have to think a country as great and wealthy as America should be able to take care of its most vulnerable people.
Yeah. And so to answer the question, I don't find it ridiculous wouldn't be the best word to me. I feel kind of like sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous in a sad kind of way.
Yeah.